Tell me what's going on, Heidi.
Well, here we are on the 22nd day of January, and it is the first day of 5 consecutive days of rain. So we have some major indoor projects going on, including installing the equipment for our solar panel system indoors, just the indoors equipment. And in order to do that, we had to just deconstruct all of our living spaces. So most of the equipment for the solar panel system is going to be installed in our bedroom, which is a complete mess right now. Our mattress is up there, and here is where the mattress usually would be. And so Byron's been working on installing the inverter and the control panel, right?
Charge controller.
Charge controller. So what we have right here is the inverter, and he created a special little mount system to raise it up off of the hole. And then over here he's put the charge converter in there. So tell me more about the charge converter.
Yeah, it's a charge controller, and basically the solar panels will come in through this section, tie into this box, and then these batteries will all be replaced with LiPo batteries. So we'll have 4 batteries in there, all tied together in parallel, and then the charge controller will bring wires out to hook up positive and negative onto the LiPo system, and we will have a solar powered house. This ground is going to be detached from our engine battery, which is the first battery over here, and it's going to be reattached down to the grounding block, which is the copper bar on the wall over here. And that way we have separation between the LiPo batteries and the flooded batteries. And the flooded battery will only charge on alternator, and the LiPo batteries will charge from solar or from the input power, shore power.
Makes sense. So in order to do this project, of course, we had to move all of our bedding out into this area of our living room. And so it's a complete mess, but we should be able to get it put back together by tonight. Upcoming projects include, here's our new LiPo batteries. We'll be putting those in. And then we also got this pad to go under our mattress to help prevent condensation from gathering and seeping. And then also today, my fancy new first aid kit arrived with a whole bunch of things inside that we hope we don't ever have to use. So here's the medical bag and the fancy label that Byron chose for it. So here is our solar panel mount system, and Byron ended up building our own stainless steel mount for it mainly because we couldn't find a contractor that could do it in a timely manner. We have 4 flexible panels, and they each weigh about 10 pounds, and each is 200 watts for a total of 800 watts. So this is what the back of our boat and our bimini looked like before we put up the solar panel system. With the help of a couple family members, we did get it put up there, and it seems pretty secure.
All right, here's a synopsis of the solar system. We have solar panels that are up in the sun, and I've run the wiring all the way behind the wall, across this back panel and through, and it goes into a charge controller, solar charge controller, which maintains the charge on the batteries. I've got 4 LiPo batteries that are charging right now. And then I've come off the LiPo batteries and gone into an inverter. The inverter is 2000 watt inverter. It's got a hard line out from here that goes to a switch between shore power and the inverter power to power up our air conditioning system. We expect to maybe be able to pull 30 minutes worth of air conditioning on one air conditioner in the boat just to cool down the back room so we can sleep at night. Also, on the front of the inverter, we have 3 electrical plugs, and what I've done, electrical outlets, and what I've done is I've taken outlet pigtails and wired them to 2 120 volt outlets on each side of the bed. And I still have one left, and I may eventually end up wiring towards our living room. So we'll have 120 out there as well. That's the inverter remote on-off switch, so I can always turn everything off if I don't want to use it.
And then you can monitor the batteries on your phone, right?
Yeah, we can monitor the batteries through a Bluetooth from the charge controller. That's the smaller box up there, is our Bluetooth. And there's a battery system, or a battery program on my phone that tells me what our charge rate is, what our usage rate is, even what the inverter usage rate is. So we always have an idea of our power.
And we left one battery, our starting battery for our engine.
The starting battery is not a LiPo. It's a flooded lead acid battery, AGM, and it is solely for charging the power to the starter in the boat for the diesel engine.
I'm doing some meal prep here, and this is the coating for our fish tonight. It's got almond flour and fresh dill, cayenne, ground mustard, salt, and lemon zest. That's going to be our fish. Just about to come out of the oven are my famous almond flour and sour cream biscuits. Let's see if they're done. The oven's tricky because you don't exactly know what temperature you're cooking at a lot of times. They look done to me. We have this thermometer, so yeah, the temperature got up there pretty high this time. I guess before we can eat dinner, we're gonna need to clean up our mess. We're trying to finish up our water maker today, and it turned into quite a project. I don't have a big selection of pans to cook in, and I'm trying to figure out, there must be a geometry solution to this, or something about how to get the fish to fit in an 8x8 dish. I'm just gonna overlap them a little bit, and then we'll just cut it into pieces later. So I like to coat the fish with mayonnaise, and it's got to be Duke's. It's got that twang. Instead of using egg, I just spread a little dollop of mayonnaise on each fillet, and then sprinkle the topping on it. Now the fish is ready to go into the oven, and it's right now it's at 300. It'll probably get up to about 350 or so, and maybe 375. I hope. We'll see. It only needs to cook for about 15 minutes. We have the fish, some vegetables I made the other day, and there were 4 muffins.
I know. What do you think? You're getting 1 and I'm getting 2? Is that it?
Anyway, Byron's had a long day working on projects, so we're getting ready to enjoy this meal. We waited until the nighttime to connect the solar panels to the batteries. just to avoid any kind of surge of power across the connectors. But even with the stadium lights on that are in our marina, we were getting 12 watts of power from the stadium lights, which was interesting.
So basically, what I've done is I have wired all the panels in series parallel. So we've got each two panels is wired in series, and they're wired in parallel together through a series of tons of connectors that go down the pipe, around and up under the seat. They go under the boat and under our bed to our floor. And this is about as nice as I can make them look. It's not very nice, but it's all going to be hidden by the bimini when the bimini comes up. And so that's what we're going to do now. Is bring the bimini up and over
To hide the ugly.
to hide the ugly.
Overall, we're pretty happy with how our solar panel system turned out. It's what we're going to use for now, and of course, we might end up changing it later. But for now, we're getting good power and enough to run our electronics and lights. So thanks for watching, and feel free to put any comments